Hey, gang. It is Mob Guppy, where the Guppy is the mob. How y'all doing? Mr. B's fishing things in first. Then Daryl Deemer and Fish Tropic. Very cool too here. 4 likes, 4 thumbs up. I saw people were here. I hate leaving you waiting. And so I'm glad to be here. I got a nice note from Melvin today, and hopefully I haven't seen Melvin in a while in our live stream, so hopefully our man will show up today. So I look forward to hearing from Melvin. I hope that your Monday was good. My Monday was nuts. I mean, just absolutely nuts. So yesterday I went and prepared shrimp to be fished or to be shipped. Shrimp to be shipped, not to be fished, because that doesn't work. Oh, I have my cap here, and this is and it's backwards. I have to figure out how to fix that. It's for Lazy Daisy, and Lazy Daisy is the name of one of my horses, and she's taking a little vacation before getting back to the racetrack. She just turned 3 years old, so pretty good stuff. So, what can I tell you? What can I share with you? So today I shipped out shrimp for the first time, and our buddy Ambist Aquatics, who does a lot of stuff on eBay and stuff on Aquabid. He says eBay has been a bigger thing for him lately. He purchased 80 fire red shrimp, but he's getting like 95. So I'm sending him a whole bunch. He also got a couple of baby guppies. It's a bonus. And so he's going to be getting that Wednesday. It went out today around 2:00 my time. And I got to work today and I had everything ready to go. And my hope was I had meetings. So I go to work. I get to work at about 5 a.m. My lunch break is around 9-ish. So my goal was at 9:00, pick up the package, run to the post office, ship it out, get back to the office, walk the dog, normal stuff like that. Well, seemed like anything that could have gone wrong was going wrong. People wanted to meet with me. People wanted to see me. I had a lot of junk going on all at the same time. Okay? So I promptly, I just sat there and I got home at 9:00 like I normally do, and I walked Bolo and I took my lunch to go. And I took frozen lunch back to the office, nuked it up there, and worked at my desk. In fact, I still have work to do. As soon as we're done tonight, I'm going to be doing some work. Pretty exciting. So that is sort of what's going on. But I will tell you this. I've learned a couple of things already about the shipping deal. And convenience for me is more important than thriftiness. So I went and I bought some styrofoam and I cut it up for the I cut it up to put in the box to go to the priority mailbox, and it was good. It was fine. But I was messing around with that for probably about a half hour, and I'm just going, yeah, do I really want to do this every time I ship fish? No. So I've got a tip for you. And it's kind of a good tip, is that I found services on eBay that set them up already that give you all the parts for the priority boxes that they have at the post office. Let me have it. So I'm going to order some of those. So it's and how many of you that are watching right now, how many of you have shipped fish to your home or your office to get to home? How many of you had fish arrive for your aquariums? I'm curious about that because I know a lot of people just would rather go to the fish store, and quite frankly, I would too. But I'm not. My fish store is nice, but it's not. It's not a particularly big one, and I'm after what I'm after. Hey, Mrs. B, Angie, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. And so the idea is this, very simple. Is that if I can pay a couple of bucks to have that already cut and ready to go, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that. By the way, I'm enjoying a delicious fresca. All right, Chewy, lurk away. And normally Tampa Tom is lurking, but I haven't seen him. He usually chimes in. So my little dog, Bolo, I don't know what the deal is. He's not wanting to eat. So I had to give him some medicine. He's always had a tough stomach. So he's like sitting in my lap. He's just chilling away. I gave him his medicine. Hopefully that'll begin to kick in. He has some of his heart medicine that he hasn't eaten yet. I've tried giving him treats. It isn't happening yet. So I'm gonna have to bring a couple of things upstairs if he isn't eating by the time I go to bed, and sort of hopefully that the medicine will kick in over the next few hours. It's usually what happens. He's gone like months without those issues, so who knows? So if my shipping thing works well, and I shipped it to our buddy Logan at Ambus Aquatics, he's the one who purchased all my shrimp, and so there we go. You got a mono shrimp from Flip Aquatics and some fricatus from Dan's Fish. Yeah, it's funny is that the first fish I ever received via shipping were guppies from Stephen Quartler, who's like in the IFGA world. He's a big guy in that. He's huge. So he sent, like, he was not sparing any expense, and he would not ship 2 days. He wanted to ship overnight, and he had the styrofoam things that fit right over the bags that were pre-made. I don't even know where he got them because I've sort of looked for them just out of grin. So I probably should ask him and just try to figure out what the cost is. I mean, he was absolute first class. Most people that I've gotten from basically do the same thing. They pack it up they pack it up in a way with styrofoam. Sometimes they use like the peanuts. And hey, 44 Mag Guy, welcome to the live stream. Real Fish Aquatics, how y'all doing? Welcome to the live stream, everybody. All right, so I went and I got I actually used. I realized I didn't have a paper towel, so I bought like some cheap towels a while ago that I didn't use, and I wrapped up the heat pack in that. I wetted down the heat pack just a little, or the outside of the towel. I wrapped it up and I put it in, and I had extra styrofoam, and so I placed it in there so everything sort of held. So it's on its way. But the one thing I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to get stickers. I was looking at that on eBay, and I'm going to start shipping on a regular basis. I've got lots of guppies. I've got lots of shrimp, and I'm not going to be able to keep up with it. I'm going to have to ship it out. And my fish store, I stopped by and saw, I think it was her son or an employee, but he's always there. I think it's her son actually. And and I said, "Would you be interested in some of this?" He goes, "She'll call you." I've not heard a word. And this is a couple of weeks ago. Now I can stop by, and maybe tomorrow on my way home from work, I'll stop by and say hi to her and see what's going on. But I have a lot of fish to move out, so there you go. I have a lot of swordtail guppies. I'm not quite there yet on the roebuck reds. I have a lot of female roebuck reds. I don't have a lot of males. So it's I may have to go out and offer like a 4-pack of females that are pre-hit, because they're all pre-hit. It's just I have a lot of females. It's really funny. So my swordtail guppies, and by the way, this tells you, by the way, about sex determination of guppies, at least in my scientific world. My aquariums are all at the same temperature, completely at the same temperature. My swordtail tanks produce about 60-40, 60% males to 40% females. Matthew Moore Cichlids, welcome to the live stream. My roebuck reds are producing about 80% females. So, and again, we like to go out and talk about sex determination and temperatures and all that sort of stuff. A lot of it has to do with genetics. Is that I can probably sell some super sell a 5-pack, 1 male and 4 females, roebuck reds. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So I had to go to get the shrimp in today. I went and sort of rearranged my 55, and I moved all my driftwood and like everything except for there's one cave where there's a male super red looking over eggs. And I didn't move that one. I moved everything else to get the shrimp out. I sort of came up with a system on the shrimp to get out of it. I have some baby tears. If you look at the video I had that came out on Saturday, that's going through. For reds, I had basically the opposite, and the tanks were at 78. That's what my tank is at, 78 degrees. I have Aqueon preset heaters that are set at 78 degrees. That's the temp every time. I don't know why I'm having these issues, but I am. Maybe I'll have more males come up. I don't know. I was talking to Doug Gray, who I got my roebuck reds from, and I was sort of telling him, I move I close on my home 5 weeks from today. And he goes, you're probably in a place where you have to set up more breeders. And he's right, I am. I have 2 tanks that have been cycling, but I don't have the heater in them. I need to go and get the heaters in those 2, and I guess move over roebuck reds. And this weekend I'm going to go to Springfield, visit Petco, and buy some fish aquariums. I'm meeting a friend. I'm going to meet her for lunch, a late lunch, so I'll be here for the live stream. And then we'll just see what happens. Just see what occurs. So it's pretty neat all the way around. What else can I tell you? My just the whole process, by the way, of getting the fish ready to ship. It really wasn't terrible. I thought I had this big fear that it would be this, long drawn out deal. No. And realized I was collecting 80 fire red shrimp, and I sent 95, and a couple of baby guppies. Try getting a baby guppy out of a specimen container. Oh, Bolo wants to get down, everybody. Say hi, Bolo. Say hi, everybody. He wants to drink. That's why he got down. I think. We'll find out. D, welcome to the live stream. Great to have you here. Down the wormhole in the house. Dealing with a sick dog. I've shipped out fish for the first time. It's pretty cool. I will tell you the one thing I was a little disappointed in myself is that all the stuff that I've had shipped in, I've gotten rid of the styrofoam. That was stupid. I've gotten, let's see, I'll tell you how many shipments I have done since moving here. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe. 5 things have been shipped in with insulated containers. I didn't save any of them. What a moron I am, huh? Just a moron. So we'll figure that out. So I am on this payday because I've been spending my like an idiot. I'm gonna get myself ready, and then I'm gonna set up a shingle on eBay and also on Aquabid. And let's see if I can move out some of these guppies because I need to get rid of some of them. And so I'm gonna go through. When I'm in Springfield, now I don't know. I've been into like a couple of the shops in Springfield. And by the way, bubble wrap, D, let's talk about that. I get my hands on bubble wrap. All I'm doing is popping it. I'm like addicted to popping bubble wrap. Addicted. I love it. So it's all right, 44 meg guy. Just hang out, just lurk. Lurk is good. So yeah, so the process here, I'm pretty happy with the process. I'm looking forward to trying to ship more fish and give it a go. And hey, Madfish Diva, welcome to the live stream. So I'm going to end up going and getting more of the fish and and more of the shipping, and I'm just going to go and just start doing it. I think that I think it's a good idea, and just ship them out every Monday depending on the weather. Too hot? No. Too cold? No. Hey, a gnarly tank addict. Welcome to the live stream. 12 people here. 9 thumbs up. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Oh, Bolo, you want to come up? Well, hold on. Guess he wants to come back up and be with his daddy. So there he is. He's very happy. Yeah, Ambist Aquatics. He'll have it on Wednesday. My guess he's going to let them sort of chill out at his place for a week or two. Ambist Aquatics, he sells on eBay. He also sells on Aquabit, and they're really nice ones. I'm very happy with them. They're exactly what I thought. Okay, Royal Fish Aquatics, we'll make a deal. I'll set you up. I have your website. I'll reach out to you. And my email address is mobb.guppy, MOBB, dot, like a period, for those of you not familiar, GUPPY, like Guppy, at gmail.com. So yeah, let's communicate, and we can set you up with some wonderful swordtail guppies. And I may do one of these things. I have so many males in my 55. I may have to do one of those like male sales. Get 10 males. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But again, I'm pretty happy. So yeah, so the whole process of shipping out really wasn't that bad. The deal was it was shrimp, and because they're little and they sort of go, the baby tiers worked out really well because I put the net through the baby tiers, and I would look at the bottom of the net, and there was 10 of them in there. If you can go do that every time and have 10, 12 in there every time, thumbs up. So yeah, so I'm excited. I'm very excited about the move. I'm excited about about the whole process. So I just can't wait. So what, Bolo? Come here, come here. He's doing this thing where he wants to get up and he wants to get down. And since he's old with a heart condition, he wants to be picked up and down. And quite frankly, since I have a tile floor, I prefer to put him down just because he's old. So there you go. So yeah, the shipping thing worked out really well. Here's the one I've talked about in videos just recently. I saw at least 8 at a time super red pleco babies. Come on, Bolo. And guess what? I don't see any. So I took everything out, sort of hoping that maybe they were hiding underneath the driftwood or something. Nothing. I don't see them at all. Now I have a question for you. Everything is growing in this aquarium. I keep fresh vegetables in there all the time. In fact, I have yellow squash that's going to go in this tank and my Amica Splendens tank. For those of you who have had Ancestris bristlenose plecos, do the adults eat the baby plecos? Because there's nothing else that's going to be eating these things. There's nothing. Because I have a bunch of baby guppies in there. All right, 44 meg guy. I just don't know. I'm finding it. In fact, I was watching a video yesterday from Michael's Fish Room, and he was talking about, he has green dragons, which are Ancestris, and bingo, he was having problems with all of a sudden the babies disappeared. So I'm trying to figure it out. Believe me, they get enough food. These fish get way too much. I feed them like piggies. Absolute piggies. I will tell you one of the negative things of shrimp is that especially once you get a certain amount, I mean, on the bottom of my 55, it's covered by shrimp. I mean, there's shrimp everywhere. Even with 90 less, 95 less, there's a bunch in there. And so I probably should put them up for sale individually. Or do 4 packs or 8 packs. Maybe that's what I have to do. I'm gonna go when I get paid on Friday. I'm gonna go nuts. So I'm gonna go get a lot of stuff done. Delicious Fresca. So have you guys been avoiding colds? At my office, everyone's gotten sick as a dog. And it sounds like I'm stuffed up as just allergies. I feel fine. People have, I went through the voice loss thing, but it was not a sickness. It was just over speaking and overdoing it. So in the process of this, I've been popping the vitamin C. And by the way, anybody planning on going to China these days? Yeah, my job, Madfish Diva, is a germ factory as well. I mean, I work in a very small office space with 2 people. And it started off, the gal I work with, her baby got sick. So you know what that means? She gets sick. She took 2 sick days, one for the baby, one for her. The other guy I work with, he got sick and missed a day. So who knows? Doug, I think you're right. I think I'd make a great host for the American Ninja Warrior because I'm your everyman. Short, tubby, dumpy, balding. Perfect. Perfect. It's all the way around. So yeah, so that's what's so shipping out, doing my first shipment out. I have to make sure it arrives well, and so we'll see what goes on. What Logan has to say once they arrive, but got it done. Got it done. The other thing that I have to go out and do, and I've got to do. I went through my 10-gallon tanks. Supposed to get there on Wednesday. He lives about an hour and a half outside of Portland. So it I in my whole world is that I would like the shipment to go to fly to from here to Dallas or Chicago, then straight to Portland. So we'll see how it goes through. How many packages are you shipping, Doug? See, Doug's serious into the shipping thing. And next time we talk, Doug, I have a couple of questions. Now I've done this a couple of times. Now I've done this once because it's it's like doing anything the first time. Whenever you do something the first time, it creates you have ideas of what it's supposed to be. Whether cooking a meal or shipping fish or or you know moving aquariums, all that sort of stuff. Hey, you shipped 3 jars of food today and a huge batch of Java moss. There you go. So I will say this is that I have more plants than I know what to do with. And so I'm going to go through tomorrow. I'm going to go through my 10-gallon tanks and go through there. Big City Bettas, you've not missed all the fun. We're having a great time. And quite frankly, whenever you get here is when the party begins. It's all good. I know, here's the deal. I know everybody has so much going on in their lives. You have fish aquariums, you have a spouse, you have kids, you have pets, you have work. Everybody has a lot going on in their lives. Anytime that you can go and spend some time with me on the live stream, I really appreciate it. Because it's, you've taken time out of your very busy life to be a part of what's going on here. So I'm pleased to have you here, however long you're able to go through and go through. I really appreciate you guys hitting the like button. I appreciate you sharing it, etc. And Select Pet, what's up? Were you lurking, or are you just waiting on just waiting to say you were here because of Amber? Just I'll sit and lurk. I'll watch until Amber shows up. So we'll figure that out. Thank you very much, Mad Fish Diva. Um, so the process is I've got to go through my 10-gallon tanks. And something, in fact, I'll make a video on this before I go through for my Wednesday video. Um, every aquarium has at least some duckweed at one time or another. And I've done a pretty good job of keeping the duckweed at bay. I think it's because the fish aquariums are running at really good, everything's running well. Well, all of a sudden, two, not not the 10 guppy tanks I have set up. Two of the guppy tanks all of a sudden are growing duckweed like there's no tomorrow. I mean, it's like just piling on. I'm trying to figure out why. So I may do a big water change with them and deal with that. Wow, now we're dealing with people, doing territory over their toilets. See, that's what it's all about. It's where we are as a society. Yeah, I hate duckweed too. And here's the deal: when I first got here, I got some plants. There's a little bit of duckweed in it, and this is as my 55 was getting into shape and running and cycling and all that sort of stuff. There's like two pieces of duckweed in it. It's almost all gone. Okay. Um, all my other 10-gallon tanks, yeah, not a lot of duckweed, except for two. I have no idea. I was doing that when I was in Little Rock, and and I started to think, well, maybe it was because the room had a lot of light in it, a lot of natural light, even though it wasn't directly on the aquariums. Let me tell you what, in this place, it's a dungeon, man. If I'm not turning on the lights of the aquariums, it is not light in this room at all. So I figure I probably need to keep the lights off as much as possible. I know that helps get rid of the duckweed. I don't know. It's now both of the tanks with duckweed, uh they've been set up. One of them set up a little bit longer than the other with paired up with breeders. Well, both tanks now have just a bunch of babies. I mean, just a bunch. And so, again, I don't know what's going on there. So, as I'm getting ready to move, I've learned a couple of things. That I'm sort of thinking through the process of it is that, I went to Smart PetSmart this weekend, yesterday, and PetSmart has a pretty good deal on. Sometimes it's a 75, but sometimes it's 65, where you get the hood, the aquarium, and the stand. For like 199, sometimes 249. Right now it's 249. Well, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna do that. Um, and I'll tell you what, it I'll get that. I'll set that up. I'm gonna move all the fish and shrimp from the 55 over there, and then move this tank. Rip it down and go from there. Move it over and just go from there. It's just, yeah, it's amazing stuff. And I have to sort of figure out. I probably need to start making appointments for a moving vehicle, and because I need to get that going, because I'm going to be moving, of course, in 3 steps. So that's one of the things I'm going to have to do. Okay, let's see here. All right, pickup date, and yeah, 5 weeks from today, I close on my house, and so it's and let's see here. And I'm looking at you all just and okay, I can get a cargo van that I can move the junk on day one for 24 hours, pick that up and go from there. That's what I'll end up doing. And 1995 plus 59 cents a mile. They used to have a deal at U-Haul where an in-town moving, for 1995 you'd be right from there. Well, I have one of the guys I work with, um, and his son are gonna move me, and they're both like weightlifter guys, so perfect. Hey, you know what? It's I'm moving 5 miles away in beautiful Joplin. So my house, they did the appraisal today on the house. Everything was cooler than a cucumber, and so I'm now at a place where everything has been done, and I'm just literally waiting to close on the house. Pretty exciting. So so the move over is gonna be like that. I'm gonna set up the aquariums first. I've got to move over, the Wi-Fi, because you really can't do anything anymore in life without Wi-Fi, right? So I'll set up the Wi-Fi on the Friday, and then on Saturday I'm going to move everything else over. And once I have everything over, well, then I'm going to once I have everything in place, I'm going to get on Saturday, get most of the stuff over. And then from that moment on, it's just taking down the fish aquariums here, setting up fish aquariums, taking them down. And my hope is that on day 2, I can get enough aquariums set up so I'm ready to move over fish. So there you go. Mr. B's fishing things, not moving. See, there you go. And I think I'm far enough away from JH and Funk, Aquafunk, that I don't think it's close enough for us to help each other out conveniently. Because it's we're a ways away from each other. But hey, it's all good. So let's see. Hey, Melvin, welcome. Welcome. Great having you here. And let's see. Oh, there he is. Scott, King and Queen Cichlids. Welcome to the live stream. Scott and Liz, probably just Scott, because it would be Cichlid Queen. Well, then I know it's Liz. So there you go. Yeah, it's just getting everything ready for the move, getting stuff shipped out for the first time. It's really, really fun and really, really good stuff. And that's the deal. And I have moved. Okay, for work in my professional life, let me give you where I have lived. I don't know if I've ever gone through it. Minneapolis. I went to college in Sacramento and finished in Minneapolis. So Minneapolis, Huntsville, Alabama, Greenville, South Carolina, San Francisco, California. Okay. New York City. Okay. San Antonio, Little Rock, Joplin. So 8 cities. And that's a haul, everybody. And the New York, the Greenville to San Francisco was tougher than San Francisco to New York. I swear to you, you go from that East Coast to West Coast move thing, it's freaking brutal. Because all of a sudden it's if you're somebody who goes to bed at a normal time, like 10 o'clock, well, that's 7 o'clock on the West Coast if you're in the East Coast. All of a sudden it's like 7:30 and you're going, oh yeah, and then you're waking up, at the crack of dawn. You're waking the chickens up. So it's I've been back in the central time zone since 2013. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. So it's I moved to San Antonio in May of 2013. So and so that's kind of the neat thing there. So yeah, so just the whole process of shipping was great. No, you know what? I've not been in witness protection. When I was in New York and New Jersey, let me tell you, that was frequent conversation there. And yeah, do you know where there is? It's actually not far from where I am, where I think there very well could be folks in the witness protection program. Is that in Kansas, outside of Pittsburgh by about a half hour? I am told there's a town. I won't name the town, but I am told that you walk in to those places and it ain't Kansas anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of folks who are Sicilian, making delicious, uh, making delicious Italian food. So I probably have to drive out there and try it out because the one thing. Now, you East Coasters may know this, but I mean, do you know how to tell you're in a good Italian restaurant? It can be no matter where you are. I'm going to give you a tip. And I learned this during my time in New York because there's a lot of Italian places in New York. And one of the guys who worked for me, Sicilian from Staten Island, which is still one of the places where you can find the Mobb. The Mobb in New York, they're still there, but their home bases are two places: Staten Island and Oyster Bay, Queens. So here's the deal about dealing with an Italian restaurant. Before you're seated, ask if you can walk around the restaurant to get an idea of the atmosphere. And as you're walking around, look for this. And I hate to be stereotypical, but it is. Okay? Look for a little Italian man in a suit, dark sunglasses. It could be at 10 at night. If you see that guy in a corner of a restaurant in a booth, eat there. It means that the restaurant is quote unquote connected to the boys. And say what you want about the mobsters, and there's plenty of things you can say. They don't mess around with their Italian food. It's going to be good. And I learned that because when I was first in New York, would go into Italian restaurants, and sometimes it'd be And so I'm dealing with guys named Frankie and Carmine and things like this. So I sat there and I said, okay, I went and hit this one over in Hell's Kitchen. Wasn't all that good. Then they told me the secret. So I tell you, if you follow that, you will always have a great Italian meal. Always. And yeah, no, it's and again, the more authentic and all that. I actually lived just across the GW Bridge in Hackensack, New Jersey. The company I worked for had 3 offices. One in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, and they've since moved that over to the financial district in Manhattan. And then they had an office in the Empire State Building, 17th floor, and in right across 33rd Street from just across 33rd Street from Madison Square Garden. The Madison Square Garden and Empire State Building offices were very close. I mean, it was like a 4-block walk. So I would go into Manhattan usually 4 times a week. Very rarely 5, sometimes 3 times a week, but it was at least 3 to 4 times a week. And I would go in first thing in the morning. I would drive over. If I left my apartment in Hackensack before 6:45, I would drive into Manhattan because I could be at there was a parking lot that was pretty cheap for Manhattan standards, and the company I worked for picked it up. And well, I'm sorry for making you city sick, Amber. I'm just telling the stories. I miss it from time to time too. And so, if you left before 6:45, I could be, unless there was an accident on the George Washington Bridge. You never want to take the tunnels in, ever. Um, I could be at my desk at the Empire State Building by 7:15, guaranteed. It was pretty much. If I got in the car and started to leave, it was like 6:50. It could be an hour and a half before I arrived at the office. So I would drive to Secaucus, New Jersey, and take the train directly in and to the Penn Station, then walk to the Empire State Building. So that's essentially, I would usually have a couple of morning meetings and then I'd get out. So let's see here. Oh, you were born in Manhattan, Scott? Very cool. Bob Kaler. Oh, Park Slope. Park Slope. 3 years. Yeah, so it's yeah, but I'll tell you what, it's not Nola Jane Fish Rich. Welcome to the live stream. I'll say this though, for those who have not lived in New York City, is that a couple of things to go through. Number one, the people are great. They really are. There's some bad places not to go in New York, and generally those places are in a place called the Bronx. Harlem, for the most part, is really nice. I had some business acquaintances, and and he lived right on the border between Manhattan and uh, Manhattan and Harlem, and it was fine. It was perfectly fine. The place I always felt really nervous in, and I have a pretty good antenna. You may not look at me and think street guy, street guy. Um, I have a pretty good antenna about when you walk into a situation, and the big thing is that there's a bad person around. If you look like you're a tourist, they're gonna get you. They're gonna roll you, and you better well know where you're going and what you're doing. And if you don't know, fake it, then figure it out. You want to be targeted to be to be rolled and to have your wallet taken. Walk out of the subway and then stand around looking at the city. They can spot you a mile away. The deal is with New York is that the energy is really great. You have to run around. It's insanely expensive. New York drivers, by the way, are like bats out of hell. I have, they joke about California drivers, and and it's really true. But if you take 95 New Jersey Turnpike, and then you head down towards Florida, and I've done that drive. If you can be driving at 85 and a 70-mile-per-hour speed limit, and you'll be passed by a New Yorker doing 100. I mean, they drive like bats out of hell. And you also have to learn. You have to also go out and learn. Hey, no problem, Fancy Tail Aquatics. It's okay. The other thing you have to learn is that in New York, and this is one of the things I got into a big habit of. New Yorkers drive with the horn. Somebody starts to start moving right away. It's they drive with the horn. It's an offensive weapon. And there were times that I would be driving through Hell's Kitchen down at 10th, I think. Oh no, it's not 10th. Um, well, yeah, I think it is. It's and ninth or 10th, and they would have 4 lanes all going in the same direction, and all of a sudden there were 6 lanes built in because people were driving that close to each other, and so it's all good, all good. Yeah, New Yorkers work the horns pretty good. When I moved to Texas, I was driving around with my supervisor, and we were going to lunch, and it was freaking him out about how much I was hitting the horn. And I just sat there. And I said, "Dude, I'm not even touching the horn. I mean, this is I'm being very calm." And so it's yeah, New Yorkers, they know how to massage that. And the idea that you can make 4 lanes into 6 lanes in city traffic is beautiful. And yeah, it's yeah, the subways are great. I understand in the last couple of years since some De Blasio's taken over, uh, and uh, and yeah, well, people like to make their own rules. That's true. The subways, I understand, aren't quite as safe as they were, say 5, 6 years ago. And but again, you got to go in there and you've got to own your space on the subway. You have to own it. Anthony's Fishy Friends, welcome to the live stream. It's all good. I've got to put out. I received, by the way, a video from Amateur Aquatics for me to fish tuber, and I haven't put. He sent it to me like 2 weeks ago, and I was busier than heck because I was buying the house. So I got to put that together for him and get that up and running. So it's I'll go and do that. And if any of you guys want to be on Meet a Fish Tuber, I'd love to have you. Reach out to me at mob, two P's, mob.guppy at gmail.com. Let's see here. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Amber. That's and again, the biggest thing is you have to know your surroundings. And if you don't know it, fake it. And yeah, don't step to the yep, that's good. That's right. I like to go find a nice quiet thing about midway back, grab a seat, and just stay out of the way. And it's all good. So, oh, Bolo wants to get down again. A drinking game, everybody. Drinking game. Every time he gets up and down, you have to take a shot. For me, it's Fresca. So, by the way, as the week kicks in here, we have all the stuff going on. Um, getting fish rooms organized and all that sort of stuff is a big honking deal. So that's one of the things that I've been trying to pay real good attention to, getting everything focused and right, and just going through there. So I have overgrown plants. So this week when I do water changes, I'm going to rip out a bunch of plants and throw them away because I have nowhere else to put them, and I have a ton. So it's but I also have some hair algae in a couple of these tanks. I don't know even what someone was saying is because I have guppy grass, and that very well may be the case. I'm not gonna argue with that because I've noticed I don't have hair algae in the aquariums that have uh, hornwort. So we'll just go and try to figure that out. And oh, hey, winning from Melvin. I just saw your note. You won from Petzotics. Good for you. And it's all good. 14 here, 16 thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Yeah, that seems to be an issue that's going on with that. As I get hornwort to grow out, maybe when I move, I'll just, ex-nay with the guppy grass, just stay with hornwort. I have some Java moss. It seems to be, good. Oh, you know what? When I first got in here, and I started getting baby guppies. And this is like in the fall. This is like this is like October. It wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. And all of a sudden I'm beginning to get baby guppies, and I have all these guppies set up, and I go, I don't have enough plants. So I ordered some guppy grass on eBay, and it took frickin' 2 weeks to get here. It was just insane. And the guy never wrote back to me, which is also bizarre. It arrived deader than doornail. I put it in an aquarium, hoping that it would sort of grow in. It's well, the one thing about New York is that, a little Spanish will take you a long way. 2 million Spanish speakers in New York. It's not necessarily even their first language. It's just a lot of people speak Spanish. But if you walk down Manhattan, and it depends which neighborhood you go through, um, you go through some neighborhoods or some things, and you can hear a dozen languages, and that's not unusual. Now, the Empire State Building was a pretty cool location. About a block right across 33rd were a couple of really cool kosher delis that did like salads and that type of thing that were unbelievable. Right across from the Empire State Building on 33rd. 32nd was Koreatown, and the Koreans make dumplings, and I thought I'd been, I'd lived in the Bay Area. I lived in Northern California for a long time. A lot of folks of Asian extraction in Northern California. And I'll tell you what, that is the way to go. Hey, no problem. Thanks, Scott. I just saw it on TMZ. I was looking at my phone. I was at the grocery store standing in line. I'm, ADD. I'm addicted to my tech, just like you guys are. And so I probably, so all of a sudden I'm looking down the TMZ, Kobe's dead. I threw up my Facebook page immediately. So, hornwort, it's booming in my aquarium. I mean, I'll tell you what, I have guppy aquariums that are completely loaded up with stuff. So, well, hey gang, I got to check out because guess what? I've been here for an hour. I've got to do a report for tomorrow. Not a lot of fun, but I've got to get it done. And I go to bed really early. So thanks for being a part of the live stream. I really appreciate you here. Thanks for subscribing. Thank you so much for the thumbs up and for sharing. I really appreciate it. You guys are absolutely the best, and we will see you Wednesday. We'll have a new video on Wednesday, and on Saturday we'll have another live stream. You guys have a great one. Thanks, gang. Bye-bye.